My job is to prepare students for real-life careers right out of high school. StuKent has been one of the biggest resources I use in my high school classrooms. In fact, it's my favorite thing to use in my personal finance classes and marketing classes. This has allowed students to become creative. It's allowed me as an educator to help them understand certain concepts in a way that they didn't see before. As of right now in high school, my favorite product to teach is personal finance. And it gives students the access to real-life bank accounts. It gives them access to buy cars. It gives them access to buy homes. It gives access to buy stocks and so many other things that as a high school student, I never had access to. For the first time ever in a classroom, you get to buy your test grades. It becomes a competition in the classroom among students. They work on assignments in my classroom that I call extra money assignments. And so I have in my Google Classroom hundreds of assignments that they can do that I'll pay them for instead of giving them a grade. We just started selling cars this week for this term. I put a car that costs only $8,500. In the fine print, I said it was a branded title, and the insurance price was $9,000. But this student had a real-life opportunity to realize, hey, just because a car is a really good price doesn't mean that it financially is the right choice, because as soon as she bought that car, she realized, oh my goodness, my insurance price on this is $9,000. She came up to me and said, hey, Mr. Benson, I make a deal with you. Could I do this paper and write this paper about branded titles and give a presentation to the class to make it so my insurance payment goes down? I said, I love that. We'll make that happen. So she's creating a PowerPoint presentation about branded title vehicles, the pros and cons, and she's going to present that to the class next week. So for me, I felt like it was a no-brainer. Plus, I have a computer lab in my classroom, and it just felt like it was the necessary thing to do. Plus, StuKent has started to do the learning management system integration. That typical week of prep for a new term is a couple of hours. You just copy stuff over, and you just get the kids set up for the next class. And it's really just cut down the amount of paper that we have in the classroom. It makes it so kids can access their homework at home, or they can access their materials on their cell phones on the bus. It's just a lot easier for students to have access to knowledge. So it was a no-brainer.
ProfCon has been amazing. Like from the beginning, they started out with a bang. This thing has been interactive. There's an energy in the room. This is not a boring conference. Like I'm learning and it's interesting and fun. It's great. One other thing, I've been to academic conferences where it felt like the instructors weren't really there to learn things to apply in the classroom, but these instructors, like they're like-minded people. They're there to pick up new tips. They're interacting with each other. We're talking, we're trading stories. So this is a really lively and fun conference to be at. When is ProfCon next year? Seriously, when is ProfCon next year? I'm coming to ProfCon.
We always write stuff with the student in mind, knowing that there's a student at the end of it whose study was made easier because we were able to explain it well. And we're able to explain it well because we've spent 60 years combined doing it. Hi, I'm Jim Stice.
Hi, I'm Kay Stice. Together, we are the Stice Brothers.
This is a momentous day in the history of StuKent. Accounting courseware, I never would have thought when I started StuKent that we would go there. But our mission is help educators, help students, help the world. And so I couldn't be more excited to sign this contract with the Stices as our first accounting authors.
Stu, it's our pleasure. This is exciting for us.
Yeah!
Well, the fun thing about StuKent is, I think together we've probably taught in person 20,000 students, maybe 25. That's a lot.
In person.
In
That
person.
is a lot.
Face to face. But the online environment, that's, well, with the online stuff that we've already done, we taught 3 million people. So the footprint of people that you can address through online teaching like StuKent does, to me, that's exciting.
The simulation is going to help students in the trenches say, oh, I get this.
Because it helps the students see, okay, here's what you're learning in your textbook, but here's what a real person would do in the real world and how they would use this information.
We want to help the instructor create a better learning environment for students. Our objective is to help students come to class excited to learn from you.
We're not writing a textbook for you. This is a course. This is a turnkey course. We're helping the instructor. Here's the whole package. Stu, on behalf of the Stice Brothers, just thanks for letting us be part of the StuKent team. We think that what you're doing here and the passion in your group, this is going to be a force for good in education.
You're watching this video because you've seen StuKent before. We've innovated for educators like you. We've stayed focused on our mission to help educators, help students, help the world. We got our start with just a digital marketing courseware and simulation. Now we have dozens of first-in-the-world simulations and courseware. We now have an 80-page catalog worth of sims, courseware, and resources. Just in the last 6 months, we've began supporting educators in the following subjects: SEO, name, image, and likeness, sports marketing, intro to business, integrated marketing communications, services marketing, media planning, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, crisis communication, and business communication. That's just this year, and later this year, you'll see several additional subjects added as well. Our innovations aren't just with new courseware and simulations though. We've improved our level of ADA compliance, our LMS integrations, auto grading, our e-reader functionality, our assignments, and real-world projects for your students too. We're really growing up, right? 8.5 years old to be exact. In dog years, that makes us like 55 or something. Don't check my math on that. Who knows what that translates to in software years, but that's a really long time. For an ed tech company especially. It's kind of like we've gone from cute toddler to adorable kid, and we're probably somewhere in the tween years now, braces and all. Not the most flattering stage, but the best is yet to come, and we can't do it without you. Thank you so much for everything you do to help your students. We want to help them with you. So connect with us today, go to the website and check it out.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our business education event featuring our Introduction to Business bundle. My name is Paul Cotter, and I'm the Director of Product Marketing for Higher Education at Stukent. I'm thrilled to be here with you today. As we begin, I want to encourage you to use the chat feature. Go ahead and start by sharing where you're from and what courses you're currently teaching. If you have questions about our Intro to Business courseware and simulation, feel free to type them in the chat. Our amazing team is standing by to answer your questions in real time throughout this event. We will also have a Q&A session at the end. Oh, and this goes without saying, but please be respectful and polite when commenting. Additionally, we love to learn here at Stukent. We want to learn from you, so please participate in our polls throughout today's event. Over the last decade, Stukent has developed more than 30 courseware and simulations in the marketing, business, and communication spaces. We're not stopping there. We promise to continue to innovate and develop products in new subjects and categories. Our mission is to help you help your students help the world. We do that by delivering robust, first-in-the-world resources that reduce your preparation time and bring high-quality educational experiences into your classroom. In addition to all the dynamic products we already offer, I'm excited to share that Stukent has fantastic new business products launching this year, including supply chain management and operations, logistics and transportation management, strategic management and planning, business law, business stats, new venture creation, and more. As you can see, we're committed to creating exceptional products to help you elevate your students' educational experiences. But let's get back to today. We have a great event planned for you. To kick things off, I'd like to introduce Stukent's CEO and founder, Stuart Draper, who's here to share a few thoughts with you.
At Stukent, we're on a mission to help educators help students help the world. We do that by developing first-in-the-world simulations and up-to-date courseware to help you create impactful, hands-on learning experiences for your students. Today, we're going to take a look at some of the amazing resources our team has built for the courses that you teach. We've spent months creating these materials with our authors and our subject matter experts, working to build the best possible materials for you. But you know what? At Stukent, we're never quite finished with the resources we release. They're ready for use in your classroom, yes, but we're always working to make them better. We strive to keep our materials current with what's happening in your industry today, which means we update them annually and take the work of keeping your course current. If there's something you don't like about our materials, or if there's something you think we can improve upon, please let us know. We're here for you. Consider us your custom simulation and courseware provider. If we don't make it just the way you need it, we'll keep working on it to make it better. Semester after semester, we aim to bring you the best simulations and courseware in the industry, and we're not going anywhere. Over the last decade, we've been featured on the Inc. 5000 list 5 times. We've helped nearly 750,000 students at schools all over the country, and we can't wait to help you and your students next. That's why I'm so excited to present the Intro to Business bundle to you today. We built this bundle for you and your students, giving you the tools you need to teach a powerful course in less prep time and grade time, and providing your students with an immersive, hands-on experience that cements the things you're teaching them in the classroom. Today, we're going to show you the innovative features you'll love about this bundle. First, you'll take a look at the comprehensive Intro to Business simulation, which asks your students to step into roles in fictitious sales, marketing, finance, HR, and supply chain departments. I wish I had that when I was in college. Next, you'll meet the award-winning authors of the Introduction to Business courseware, Laura Muñoz and Rich Miller, who are both from the University of Dallas. Laura and Rich will give you a tour of their resource-packed turnkey courseware. Throughout the event, feel free to chat in any questions you may have. The StuKent team will be standing by to help you. Thank you for joining us today. I can't wait to show you what our team has built to help you help students help the world. Enjoy the show.
As Stuart pointed out, we're excited to show you our revolutionary Intro to Business simulation. This simulation is the perfect complement to our new courseware, Introduction to Business, Best Practices and Emerging Trends by authors Laura Muñoz and Rich Miller. StuKent's Intro to Business simulation is a powerful way to acquaint students with important business principles. And here at StuKent, we believe that lasting learning comes from hands-on experience. Our simulations reinforce student knowledge, giving them the opportunity to experiment with the concepts they're learning in your classroom. A StuKent simulation is the homework your students want to do. And best of all, it doesn't create any additional work for you. Our simulations are loaded with time-saving features for educators, including auto-grading, LMS integration, individualized student feedback, and more. A StuKent simulation won't teach your course for you, but it's a powerful tool to reinforce learning for a lifetime. But don't take it from me. Allow me to introduce you to Garrett Brock, our Vice President of Marketing. He's going to walk you through our innovative and exciting Intro to Business simulation.
Thanks, Paul. I am so excited to show you StuKent's Intro to Business simulation. Today, we're going to take you on a tour of the simulation, including all of the instructor resources that will make your job a little easier, and all of the features that will help your students get excited about the concepts you're teaching them. Students and educators all over the world rave about the Intro to Business simulation, and we know that you'll love it too. At StuKent, innovation is at the heart of everything we do. Our mission is to create products and solutions that not only benefit educators and students, but also have a positive impact on the world. To achieve this goal, we bring together a world-class team of engineers, innovators, academic partners, and industry leaders. Together, we develop the best possible simulations and courseware for your students. In 2021, the Journal of the Academy of Business Education noted a clear correlation between the use of simulations and student satisfaction. StuKent simulations make it easy to be everyone's favorite professor. They not only cement student learning for a lifetime, but also give students the hands-on experience they need to succeed in the workforce from day one. If you've used a StuKent simulation before, you know that it provides a realistic, hands-on experience for your students. The Intro to Business simulation is no exception. Over 16 simulated rounds, your students will enter a rotational program at a fictitious e-commerce retailer, Bowie Supply Co. Students will perform tasks in the human resources, supply chain, sales, marketing, and finance departments. The simulation helps to reinforce the concepts in your curriculum, giving your students a comprehensive understanding of how each department functions and what its day-to-day workflow looks like, and why it's vital to the business. Before we jump into the simulation, let's take a quick look how it can help you. The Intro to Business simulation includes a lot of great features to help you keep your course on track with less hassle and less stress. First, did you know that all of StuKent's simulations are fully integrated with major learning management systems such as Canvas, Blackboard, and Moodle, with D2L Brightspace and Schoology integrations coming soon. LMS integration includes great features such as single sign-on, gradebook syncing, rostering, and deep linking. It is easy to integrate our simulations with your current platform, and our team is here to assist you every step of the way. Now let's take a closer look at the Intro to Business simulation itself. Inside the instructor portal, you will have multiple features to help you navigate and manage your course. First, you'll see the student results. Once you're here, click a student's name to find both the KPIs and the feedback your student received in the simulation. This is such a powerful tool for working one-on-one with your students. Under the Student Results tab, you can easily reset around if you need to grant an accommodation to a student. We know accommodations are important for quizzes and tests, so we want to empower you as the instructor to grant them in the simulation. Next, you'll see enrollments. Your CSM will provide you with a course invite link to share with your students. If you integrate your StuCamp materials with your LMS provider, you can use the single sign-on process from your LMS to access the course materials. You will be able to see exactly how many students are enrolled in your class, as well as those who still need to pay for their materials. You can also set up a separate course for yourself as the instructor, which allows you to share your results tab without the fear of sharing your students' names or scores. Next, you'll see settings. Instructors using StuCamp simulations love the ability to pace the simulation with their course. It is easy to create a start date for each round of the simulation, which allows students to absorb the concepts from the courseware and your lectures before starting a round. This sets your students up for success in the simulation, as they won't be seeing the concepts or vocabulary for the first time. Next, instructor guide. This is my personal favorite. I use this all the time. Under the Resources tab, you'll notice the Intro to Business Simulation Instructor Guide. This guide provides all the information you need, including simulation setup and structure, round overviews, evaluation methods, and frequently asked questions. With this comprehensive document, you'll feel prepared to introduce the simulation to your students. This instructor guide will be your best friend. You can unlock the full potential of StuCamp's courseware with the support of our dedicated team. In addition to the instructor portal and the resources provided, you'll be assigned a personal customer success manager. Their goal is to ensure that you feel comfortable using our platform, whether it's through training, onboarding calls, or brainstorm ideas to make your experience even better. Your StuCamp CSM is your go-to contact here at StuCamp, available to assist you at any time. Your students will have access to our highly rated virtual TAs. Our virtual TAs are industry leaders in support, boasting a 96.4% customer satisfaction rating. As you can see, we are here for you every step of the way. And if you ever have any questions, please reach out to our support team. Now let's take a quick look at the Intro to Business simulation and explore why students love it so much. During each round of the simulation, students will be expected to check their email inboxes. The inbox provides memos from the student supervisor that will guide them through the associated round. In addition, students will be expected to review their notifications hub, where they will respond to questions from their simulated coworkers. This is a great self-check opportunity for students to see how they are learning the material. As I mentioned before, the Intro to Business simulation places students in a rotational program at a fictitious company called Bowie Supply Co. They will have the opportunity to work in the HR, supply chain, sales, marketing, and finance departments. Throughout the simulation, students will repeat similar tasks in each rotation to enhance their understanding of the material. Students start in the HR department, where they will select optimal recruiting strategies, choose benefits to increase retention, and to hire top candidates for open positions. In 3 rounds, you can give your students an internship in an HR department, deepening their appreciation and understanding of the importance of this role. Next, students will work as a logistics specialist in the supply chain department for 3 rounds. They'll manage inventory, replace product components, and try to decrease production costs. These rounds will give your students vital experience in supply chain, helping them to start their careers on the right foot from day one. In the sales department, students will work through 4 rounds as sales representatives. Students will select the appropriate retailers to maximize profits, craft a value proposition email, and record an elevator pitch. Students' elevator pitches will be reviewed by their peers, allowing for student engagement through constructive criticism. The last component in the sales round teaches students how to address objections with our innovative AI video technology. These rounds will provide an experience that mimics the typical onboarding process at any entry-level sales position. In the marketing round, students will take the role of a marketing assistant. They'll recommend buyer personas and marketing concepts, create effective positioning statements to target audiences, and work on allocating ad spend for marketing campaigns. These rounds teach students how to think like marketers and make data-driven decisions. In the last 3 rounds, students play the role of a financial analyst who is tasked with forecasting operating income, calculating break-evens, and selecting ideal investment promotions. These rounds will help students get a year's worth of financial experience in a single semester. Upon finishing the simulation, students will receive a certificate of completion to showcase on their LinkedIn profiles, thus highlighting their achievements and knowledge. And that's it! StuKent's Intro to Business Simulation is an effective, easy-to-use tool to enhance your students' education. It not only helps your students get hands-on experience with the basic principles, but it also allows them to explore the career paths available to them. Too often, students don't discover their passion until late in their academic journey. We hope this simulation assists your students in making informed decisions about their future career. If you have any questions or would like to walk through the full Intro to Business simulation, schedule a demo with a StuKent course consultant today. They can answer any questions you may have and help you see how the simulation can fit into your curriculum. Don't hesitate to reach out and take the next step in enhancing your students' education. Thank you for joining me today and enjoy the rest of the presentation.
Thanks, Garrett. We're excited to see how the Intro to Business simulation will transform your classrooms and your students' lives. Students love StuKent simulations. If you haven't used a StuKent simulation in your classroom before, here's what a few of our students have said about them.
StuKent's Mimic Pro simulation makes you feel like you're running a marketing campaign with real products.
StuKent's digital marketing simulation is one of the best things I could have participated in during my college career.
The simulation is realistic and applicable to future job opportunities. What I loved most was the hands-on practical exposure of running your own business online. It's hard to get a job when you have no experience at all, and this simulation is a great starting area.
Now, I'm excited to talk about our unique courseware, Introduction to Business, Best Practices and Emerging Trends. We worked with 2 award-winning educators to develop this courseware, Dr. Laura Muñoz and Dr. Rich Miller, both from the University of Dallas. This courseware pairs an accessible, engaging text for your students with hundreds of educational resources for you. You'll get detailed lesson plans, auto-graded quizzes, lecture slide decks, video lectures from experts, and more. Our courseware helps you teach your best course as efficiently and easily as possible. Plus, it's updated annually, which takes the pain out of keeping your course current. We selected Dr. Muñoz to write this courseware and simulation because of her impressive resume. She's an award-winning author with over 15 years of experience teaching marketing, entrepreneurship, and professional selling courses. She started at StuKent as a peer reviewer and impressed our editorial department so much that they invited her to create a new courseware for you. Not only did Dr. Muñoz agree to work with us, but she invited Dr. Miller to co-author the courseware and simulation with her. Dr. Miller brings unparalleled knowledge of supply chain management to the project. He has 20 years of experience teaching Intro to Business, statistics, operations management, and more. These veteran educators have distilled nearly 35 years of experience into our Introduction to Business courseware and simulation. And we're excited to have Dr. Muñoz and Dr. Miller tell us about what they love most from their courseware.
Thank you for that introduction, Paul. As you said, our courseware, we're very proud of it. We believe that we truly bring the best of both worlds. We bring theory into the classroom as well as with practical applications. So what students learn today, they can implement it tomorrow.
Thanks, Paul, for that introduction. we're glad to be part of the StuKent family with this courseware. We bring a lot to the courseware that we've learned over our 35 plus years in the classroom. We have a lot of activities. There's a lot of, during the PowerPoints, we go a few PowerPoint slides. Then we have an activity to break up, to make active learning a key component of the classroom experience.
I will say another key differentiator for us is the fact that we focus on power skills. Now, usually people refer to this as soft skills. We know soft skills such as having emotional intelligence, grit, redefining what success and failure is, can certainly lead to better workers who are more professional and better at resolving issues in their companies or in their jobs. So we believe that through doing this, through addressing, for example, just like we said, when do we need grit? When is it helpful to have a growth mindset? How do we have to redefine success and failure, and how they are both part of lives? We significantly believe that it will help our students to be better business professionals tomorrow.
Yes, we've all seen the students that have come back from their internships that have great technical skills, but typically the thing that they're having the trouble with is communicating with a coworker. They've got somebody that's difficult on their team and they need to form that relationship with the person. They need to know what it takes to succeed in the business. We can all teach them the basics of accounting or operations management or marketing, but to truly set our students apart and to put them on the best footing possible in internships and their careers is through these soft skills that we have a lot of materials on in the courseware.
Another great thing about our courseware is that it's updated yearly in a very easy way. All you have to do is log into the StuKent platform and it is updated right there in front of your eyes. You have access to over 100 resources that go from student test items to PowerPoints to the fact that we have a case for every single chapter that we wrote in this courseware.
And we were the people that wrote all of the tests, all of the PowerPoints, everything. We did not have this out, farm this out to a graduate assistant that we've seen in many of the coursewares that we've used through the years. These are the things that we ourselves would use in the classroom. So you don't need to go in and modify or delete a lot of slides that aren't of use. These, the PowerPoints, the tests, all get to the point. There's not a lot of fluff in this. We want your time in the classroom to be as valuable as possible. We don't want you to have to edit what we've done.
A key thing that we want to bring to your attention is the fact that our courseware is written in simple English. It's an English that is straightforward. How many times have we gotten those students who read a textbook and do not understand what it said? And they come to us as professors to try to explain everything. With StuKent and our courseware, you will not have that problem. We're educators who are right there along your side in front of the classroom. Together, we bring, as Paul said, over 30 years of experience. So we wrote this textbook in a way that is clear, coherent, and simple to understand.
Another benefit is the simulation and the courseware were written to be a cohesive piece. We've had the troubles before with simulations, and we've learned a lot through the years of what we didn't like in textbooks and courseware, and we've incorporated what we've learned through that. For example, the simulation is tightly coupled. They were written at the same time to be cohesive. One translates to the other. You don't need to explain what's happening in the simulation because the courseware has the explanation. Plus, the simulation that StuKent has developed is beyond our expectations when we started writing this courseware. The AI that they use, the interface, it's the best simulation that I've seen, bar none, across any platform I've ever used.
I agree with that, Rich. I think that StuKent's simulation, along with our courseware, truly brings the best of both worlds. How many times have we heard that students say, but what I learned today, I want to make sure that it's practical, that it's applicable. So we make you look good by presenting and using a courseware that is relevant, that has applications that are being used every day in businesses. And in addition to that, you assign the simulation that allows the students to actually get their hands dirty and do everything that they would in a normal business.
And to make the simulation, the courseware, and your semester smoother, we've made up many different syllabi. If you meet on a 5-week, an 8-week, a 12-week, a 15-week semester, and a single credit hour or a 3 credit hour class, we've all gone through of trying to figure out, okay, what's the timing? What simulation do I do when? When do I provide this material? We've tried to think of all of the possibilities, and if we haven't, please let us know. We'd be happy to talk it over of what else can be done. We want you to be able to have a plug and play as possible class. We're all busy. We all have a lot of other things that we want to do, then figure out, okay, it's Monday, what am I going to do today? Our syllabi that we've provided try to cover all of the eventualities so that you can focus on what's truly important, what you're providing value in the classroom, your knowledge, your ability to connect with the students instead of spending time in a Word document creating a syllabus.
Another great point that I would like to bring out is the fact that our courseware, as well as the cases and the PowerPoints, are written in a way that regardless whether you are a seasoned professor or a new to the classroom person, you can excel. In this way, we guarantee that all of your class sections will be delivered with quality and consistency.
And we all know that there's the adjunct that gets put in the last minute, and they're scrambling because they don't know what to teach. This courseware is as fluid as possible, a transition for somebody that's the seasoned pro to the first time TA that's walking into this class. Because Intro to Business, there's going to be many sections that everybody's teaching, and those last minute changes happen. And trying to police and make sure that an adjunct is following what's going in the classroom is much easier with our courseware. Again, the PowerPoints are professionally done by us. The tests, the case studies, we have explanations to answers for the short answers so that you can put somebody that is brand new, green into the classroom and have confidence that they're going to succeed with our courseware.
Well, thank you so much for today's event. And we just want to reiterate the fact that Student, it's a well-known power machine. Student serves over 6,000 institutions, some of them including NYU, University of Berkeley, and Washington State. So we want to make sure you know that we as educators trust Student, and we think that you should as well.
Thank you, Student, for our opportunity to present our courseware to all these instructors. Laura and I have been in the classroom for over 35 years. We've won teaching awards, and we're in the top of our teaching evaluations at the University of Dallas. We wanted to take our experience that we're in the classroom every single day and put it into a courseware that truly represents what we're trying to do in the classroom. Experiential learning, great simulations, PowerPoints that we're proud of. We just want to say thank you to everybody, and we're really proud to have the Stu Kent family and our courseware be presented to you.
Thank you, Dr. Muñoz and Dr. Miller. We are just so excited for the success of your courseware and the simulation, and we just love working with you. It's so much fun. Thank you. If you haven't already, I want to invite you to please take the opportunity to request free instructor access to the Introduction to Business courseware. There's a link popping up on the screen right now. With free instructor access, you'll be able to preview the entire courseware, including the syllabus, lesson plans, lecture slides, everything there is, assignments and all. So go ahead and do that. Now we're going to take some time and we're going to have a question and answer session. So I would like to invite Dr. Muñoz and Dr. Miller and Levi Gruel, our Vice President of Sales, to come on the stage right now. And while they're doing that, I want to invite you to go ahead and start entering in any questions that you have in the chat, and we can get to those questions. Hi, Laura.
Hi, hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How about you?
I'm doing awesome, having fun at this event.
So am I. I have to admit, I've been following the polls and what people are saying, and I am so delighted that the way we wrote this courseware will empower so many, if not every one of our participants, because I saw there's a good split between people who have less than 3 years of classroom experience, and there are some of them who are very seasoned. So for those of you who are, not that seasoned, who just started, we want you to know that we wrote this courseware thinking of you as well. We did not forget about you.
That's great. It's been great to read all of the questions and the comments through the chats. And our team has gathered some of those questions. It looks like Rich is having some technical difficulties getting on, so we'll give him some time. And Levi, our VP of Sales, he's getting on too. While we're waiting, I'm just going to go ahead and ask a question since you're here, okay?
Sounds perfect.
All right. Hi, Rich. You made
everybody.
it. Welcome. So here's the first question. Okay. The question is, how do your materials benefit a first-time Intro to Business instructor?
Okay, so I would like to start, if that's okay with you, Rich.
Please, go ahead.
Okay, so we've taken care of doing the organization, the planning, and the delivery for you. We know, especially when you're new to the classroom, time management can be a little bit of a nerve-wracking thing as to, well, how much do I lecture? How much do I do exercises? So one of the key things that we do is we've done the planning for you. So on the syllabus, you will see that we correlated our courseware content along with the simulation content. So you know what goes hand in hand. Another key thing that we're also doing is we in the PowerPoints, we went ahead and put an exercise with every simulation, with every PowerPoint. So as you're presenting, we are also giving you an exercise every 7 to 10 slides. So you are not killing them on death by PowerPoint, but you're actually giving them a hands-on experience.
That's great. Let me go to the next question. Can you talk about your case studies, how they're structured, and how they tie into the chapters?
Okay, I'll take this one since Laura got the last question. We have a case study for every single one of our chapters now. We have structured them so they're reinforcing the points that are brought into the through the chapter that we've written. Again, as instructors, we've always seen case studies. We're like, how am I supposed to teach this? The students haven't learned anything about this topic. So again, this is everything that we've written. It's integrated so that it's an application of the concepts that they've just learned.
And if I may add, I'm a true believer in cases because I believe that it helps you with a hands-on experience. I saw in our poll that a great number of our attendees are looking for this feature, hands-on experience. So the case method, the cases that we include, allow you to guide through a discussion where students learn critical thinking, they learn group dynamics, and they also learn communication. Now, another key thing about our cases that I'm so excited is that we make them relatable. So we give you a good opening that kind of hooks the audience. We give you the plot, and then to make it easy on the instructors, what we do is we've given you not only the discussion questions, but we've given you the answers that we in the classroom will provide. So in that way, we want to make sure that you feel empowered and that you're going to get stellar student evaluations.
Great. I love how excited you are talking about this. I want to do the case studies right now. You're so you're so excited about it. Well, talking about hands-on learning, let's switch over to a question that we have about the simulation. One of the questions is, do you have tips on how to best integrate a simulation for a first-time user?
I'm happy to.
Rich, you want to take it?
Levi, go ahead.
Oh,
yeah.
I was going to
go
say,
ahead.
Laura and Rich do such a great job selling their courseware and all the wonderful benefits. I could just log off now. But anyway, the simulation, we provide a lot of resources. Rich and Laura have done a phenomenal job building out In their sample syllabus, they show where to incorporate the different rounds of the simulation so that it makes sense as you go throughout your semester as a first-time user. We provide a really in-depth instructor guide as well, which will provide tips and tricks so that from your first semester, you're successful. Outside of the courseware, from a more structural standpoint, at StuKent, we provide a customer success manager that's going to help you through your initial implementation and onboarding. We want you to make sure that the first semester you use our courseware and simulation, that you have everything you need to be successful. We all know whenever you jump into something new, whenever you're trying to rebuild a course, there's a lot of stress that goes into it, a lot of time. And Laura and Rich have not only provided great resources, we provide great support for you to make that initial changeover, whether it's the first time you're using a simulation or you're having to redo your whole course. We provide a lot of resources and support for you to make sure you're successful from day one.
Yeah, and don't forget about the guide for instructors that we also wrote for the simulations. So in addition of having the TA and having a syllabus that shows you where everything goes, we also wrote a handbook so that you as an instructor know how to set up stuff, where do I find answers. And I also want to say I'm a user of StuKent's resources. So I actually use StuKent's digital marketing courseware and the simulations. And I have to say, not only do I love them, they work beautiful.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. Another question we have is, what are some of the key takeaways you want students to gain after using the materials in your class?
Yeah, I'll just reinforce what Garrett had said in the earlier part of this presentation. This course is intended to give students a broad overview of what a business is. So we go through and define a lot of terms and definitions. You know, that's the everyday kind of stuff that you would see in a class, but we also want to give through the case studies, the simulation, the courseware itself, the assignments. There's a lot of exploratory capability for the students, because at the end, if you can have a student that's like, you know what, I really love digital marketing, or, you know, supply chain seems like a really interesting topic, and now I know that it's something that I want to do some more exploration on as a potential career. So that's one of the key things that we want to have the students walk away with. Plus, the soft skills. As I had mentioned earlier, we all have had the students that have come back from the internships that technically are great, but they really struggled with building a team or getting somebody to buy into something through an elevator pitch. So the courseware, the simulation, the case studies, everything that we've got is to help that student as they're figuring out what they want to do and then progressing through their internships and their career. We're putting down the building blocks so that they can be successful.
And I also want to mention that we do offer self-assessment tools. So it's not all about lecture. It's also about the students getting to know themselves. And believe me, this leads to plentiful and very rich discussions. We talk about soft skills. We offer an inventory where they can get to know each other. And even our cases are relevant. Like, we make sure we choose things that will interest them. So for example, for the cases, I just wrote a case about Selena Gomez Rare Beauty, where we talk about her marketing. And this is something that, believe me, we are seeing all students are truly interested in.
That is great. I love how current that is. I'm just going to jump over to something that just came through on the chat. Joseph is asking if he can share this presentation with his school. Absolutely. Please do. And then just a comment, Salma said, I want to thank you guys. These resources will help us out a lot because it is sometimes really hard to create realistic simulations for the students that can truly prep them for the job market. And that is the purpose of this, right?
Yes. Thank you, Salma, for that comment. Truly the best way you can do this is adopt them as a bundle. Because then in that way, believe me, your prep time, your hands-on experiences, everything will go together.
Yeah. Jumping back into the simulation and a little bit about the soft skills, one of the questions asked was, does the simulation help enforce the soft skills you reference in your courseware?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Oh my gosh. So this is something that I'm also very passionate about. I don't want our students to feel shame or not feel heard about, what is success and what is failure. the value of failure, what is grit, and emotional intelligence. We want them to make sure that they feel empowered to share their experiences because it's part of our business life. So we went ahead and in the simulation included certain situations where they're going to have to choose, what will be the best response for this client? Or should I talk in this way? And so, for example, the simulation uses artificial intelligence to pop them different answers based on what the student is selecting. And then, of course, we give them feedback so they know why they got the grade they got.
Yeah, and to bring up a point Laura had earlier about self-assessments. And so I came on to the courseware after Laura had already started it, and I was amazed at the chapters that she had written on the soft skills, but then also putting in, and this is the beauty of having a purely digital courseware, there's links. We have a lot of information. So the student's like, I want to learn some more about this, click, and then they can go to the website to see, okay, what's my leadership style? Learn more about different assessment skills, or what kind of personality do I have for a certain situation, so that the students, again, it's not just a passive reading of some dead tree, that's how I call paper, of going through the old style of a textbook. The courseware is alive. There's an enormous amount that the student can enrich themselves with just as they're reading.
Great, thank you. There have been a couple questions that have come through about the classroom. Brianna asked, would this work for modern classroom with everything done online and at their own time frame? And then we had another question asked, can this be used if they're teaching it as a 1 credit or, not a 3 credit or 4 credit course? Would you answer those questions?
Rich, would you like to go?
So for the online, both Laura and I have been teaching online for over a decade. So when we were putting the materials together, we had that in mind of, okay, you're a physical class or you're a hybrid class or you're an online class, the materials will work well regardless of what your delivery technique is. And as Laura had stated, we're also making up lecture videos for all of the courses so that you can integrate those into an online class so that you don't have to spend time making the lecture videos for each of the topics, each of the chapters.
And yes, it will absolutely work for a 1 credit hour. All you have to do is obviously, you have to decide how much content you want to cover. And this is when also we believe as just because a courseware, for example, gives you a 20-page chapter, it doesn't mean you have to teach all the concepts. So this is when we believe in quality over quantity. So you can certainly adapt, but you will still be able to manage to where it matches your simulation. So again, your students will be getting both benefits of it's still a 1 credit hour, and yet they are getting their hands-on experience.
Great. Okay, I have one last question here. It says, I get many students who may not be interested in pursuing a business major. Do you have any suggestions to keep these students engaged?
Don't we all get those students? I know, I get them all the time. So yes, we help you with that as well, because that is something that we acknowledge, that you get that student that has to take the class, right? So the way we do all of these bundled together, it's as they're reading it, it's in plain, straight English, it's conversational. Oftentimes in the chapters, we start them with a story or something where we ask them, for example, in the sales chapter, we ask them, what do all these personalities have in common? And then again, we surprise them with, well, they all started in sales. So we do that. We also make sure that we offer critical thinking skills, knowledge in business. They always love to learn about different businesses. So again, we make sure we included the latest on businesses, such as, for example, examples about Jeff Bezos and Facebook and Instagram, Selena Gomez Rare Beauty, and so on. So again, at the end of the day, perhaps it's not their favorite case in the beginning, their favorite class, but I can guarantee you that at the end, they will be very invested.
Yeah. And the other piece, when we were writing it, and just reinforcing what Laura had said about the conversational nature, it's not a dry textbook type of thing that you're used to. Our courseware is, because we actually use first person. put yourself into this situation. What do you think is going to be happening? And that, I believe, and Laura's also, we've had conversations about how to write it, really brings out what it is like to read something. You're not going to assign somebody a 50-page chapter in something. They're short, they're to the point, so that you don't, even if somebody is apprehensive when they're reading it, they'll get drawn into the topic, into the chapter, and it's not going to be an ordeal for them to get through it. Then, as soon as they play the simulation, which it's just, again, I can't praise the simulation enough. The AI, all of the resources that StuKent's put into it. If the student's a little bit on the fence and we've at least got them into the classroom, the simulation should be able to sell them on, hey, business is a great career. Here's a lot of different areas. It's not this monolithic single topic. There's a lot of different ways to succeed and a lot of different majors that you can pursue within business.
And if I may interject a little bit too, I've worked with thousands of instructors in reviewing the curriculum that they use in their courses. And one of the things that I really appreciate about the approach that Laura and Rich take is it truly is an introduction to business. And across many, many careers, you will interact in business settings with your colleagues and coworkers. And there's a lot of power in knowing, what does my colleague do as somebody who works in finance? Like, what does the HR department do? Or, I've had members of my team who start in marketing and then they see the light and realize sales is the place they should build their career. And then some, start in sales and, work their way over to marketing, right? And so as students work through the simulation, as they work through the courseware, it's also just about understanding what is business. Maybe that's not their career choice. Maybe they want to be an engineer, but chances are they're going to work at an engineering firm and they're going to need to know what their colleagues do to better interact with them, right? So the whole power of developing soft skills, learning what they do in these other departments, right? There's a lot of power and strength in that when the student goes into their first job post-graduation and they can look around the room and understand at a certain level, I know generally what these individuals do day to day, and I understand what their responsibilities are and where I fit into this business, right? And so I appreciate that approach y'all take to it and the strength that y'all provide students with the hands-on experience and the soft skill development.
Thanks, Levi. All right, Dr. Muñoz, Dr. Miller, any final comments?
Well, I just want to encourage everyone, and especially as I'm reading the comments on the chats. Yes, we wrote this that is very user-friendly, because I've been there with you where you get resources and you get exercises and you're like, okay, how am I supposed to address this? Or how am I supposed to answer this exercise? How many right questions there are? So we provide you, instructor, the answers for everything, whether you decide to do a case, whether you decide to do some of the exercises, we give you the answers, we give you the resources, we also give you links, like if you want to learn more about this particular topic, click here. So yes, we want you to feel empowered. Another key trick that we do, and this is from us being a little bit more of a seasoned professor, it's every 7 to 10 slides, we give you an active exercise, a hands-on learning. So that again, you stop lecturing, you do an exercise, it takes 15 to 20 minutes, covers material that you've been addressing, and then move on. And as always, if you don't want to do it, you just delete the slide and you're set to go.
Yeah. Another thing that I always struggled with when I was starting was, okay, I can go through a set of PowerPoints, but what do I do outside of that? And Laura had said we have the activities built in, and we also provide an assignment document. So we have, okay, here's a basic, okay, so day one, if you're in an hour and 20-minute class, you should probably get through slide number 13. Then we also, for each one of the chapters, we have at least 4 in-class activities or assignments that can be done. One of our favorite activities is think, pair, and share. So breaking the students up into small teams where they think about a problem, they pair up with a small group, maybe a few people, depending on your class size. They go out and they research something. I just finished up an econ chapter. So it's take a look at what your state GDP is. What are your key exports that your state is providing? Who's the trading partners? So that, again, it's not just death by PowerPoint. It's they're getting their hands into the actual topics. They're engaging themselves and their other students. And so then that's a great topic for a great piece for both seasoned and new professors. You don't have to create everything that you're doing in the classroom. We tried to think about all the eventualities of what we like to see and things that we've struggled with in the past and provide those in our courseware.
Great. Thank you, both of you. We really appreciate your taking time to do this. Levi, I do have one more question for you. If someone is interested in learning more, or if someone is listening thinking, man, this is what I want, what are the next steps?
This is my favorite question. This is the best. We have an entire team called a course consultant team. They're here to make sure they meet with you one-on-one. They can answer any of your questions. They'll walk you through parts of the simulation or parts of the courseware to make sure that you know exactly what you need to know to make the right decision for your course and your students. So I know the link's already popped up. Hey, there it is again. Look at that. Good team we have at Stu Kent. So if you follow that link in the corner, you can schedule a time with your individual course consultant. And then from there, if you're ready to adopt it to your course, we have a form called an order form that just helps us know a bit of information so that our team internally can best help you get set up. And they will, our customer success team will then meet with you to help with creating your course and help you go through the implementation and onboarding process. And I don't mean to speak for Laura and Rich, but if anybody's on the fence, I can assure you they're some of our most engaged authors. They're more than happy to connect via LinkedIn or email and answer any additional questions you might have that, are better suited for the people who created it. And so, whatever it might be, I would recommend just schedule a time with your course consultant. We'll go through the next steps. If it's a question that Laura and Rich can better answer, we'll make sure that we connect you with them too. So.
Great. Thank you, Levi. And just so that you know, Levi is going to be standing by in a separate meeting room in case anyone has any more specific questions. And I think they're going to put a link up. There's a link for that right there. But we want to thank all of you for joining us today. Thank you, Dr. Muñoz. Thank you, Dr. Miller. Thank you, Garrett, for the demo. Thank you, Levi, for the question and answer. We thank you, everyone at Stu Kent, for helping put this event on. And thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we would like to invite you to please leave us feedback. We have a survey at the end of this event, and we really would appreciate your feedback to know how we can improve these events and make them better for you. But thank you for your support, everyone, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone. And please give us your feedback. We want to hear from you.
Please.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.